In the meantime, we will start with Amy, who is in the greatest state in the United States, in my opinion, this state of Colorado. Amy, what did you want to ask? Amy, can you hear us? Hello?
Hello?
Hey, there you are.
Can you? There we go. Sorry. Gotta love connection.
No, it's all good. Amy, what was your question today?
So I kind of wanted to talk about how student ministries on college campuses are like super freaking cult-like. I'm almost done, but I went to University of Northern Colorado, and the ones that are on campus there are spooky. They're Baptist. They're really hardcore into it. When I came out as gay, I got shunned, and I just was kind of wondering, like, what your guys' thoughts are on student ministries.
So for me, it's complicated, and I'll bet you that it's funny because lots of times Chris and I will talk about stuff and then we'll realize that we have basically the same opinion. So I'm wondering if we'll start on two ends and then realize we're like right in the middle of the two. But I'm wondering if his is similar to this based on some other conversations. It's tough for me because I'm not going to say college campuses should not allow ministries on campus, because that to me sort of is the opposite of why you should be at college. Like, this is the time you should be having your beliefs challenged. You should be coming up with comprehensive reasons for your beliefs. You should be exposed to ideas other than not just the good ones, but the bad ones too. This is why I've said a bunch of times, like, while people will ascribe the label SJW to me, I don't take it for myself, because I think deplatforming is a major part of that culture, and I don't believe in that. I think let the people talk. It doesn't mean you have to give. If some guy down the road is starting a cult, you don't have to give him the attention. Just like it's not equal access to all, but to people, to ideas that are becoming mainstream and people are listening to, let's have the debates and the talks publicly, and then let's fight them publicly. So the hard thing is when it comes to these ministries, I think there certainly has to be restrictions on what a person is allowed to do in that space. So as far as like calling for violence is an obvious one. And then you would have to have some level of restrictions, but you have to be really careful here on promotions of hate speech. But when hate speech and free speech is divided is a complicated issue. So I agree that they are extremely culty. I unfortunately think it's also a human right to be culty. And so it's kind of what it's like. You also have the right to be an asshole, but there's limitations to how much of an asshole you can be. And so I think the right way to counter online ministry, or rather on-campus ministries, is literally with counter information and people that are ready to go and try and educate from not just the opposing side, but hopefully whatever the side of fact is. And so that's where I come down on it. I think it's complicated. As much as it would be nice to say, like, I know cults are bad, therefore no cults on college campus, I just think that's a violation of human right, really. What about you, Chris?
Same. Well, definitely we're meeting in the middle on that, on those points, for sure. Because college is all about the laboratory of ideas, and if you're there and ideas are being censored, well, then you're literally not getting what you're paying for, and you should get the full experience of it, and that includes opposing ideas or even crazy ideas. I mean, you know, I'm down for conspiracy theory clubs and all that too. I mean, why not? It is what can be regulated, and I think what maybe should be is what kinds of behavior or what kinds of rules or guidelines these clubs can have, so as to maybe reduce some of the cultiness. For example, if an individual wants to shun you, disconnect from you because they no longer want you around in their life because you just disagree with them too much on things, well, that's an individual's decision to make. But it shouldn't be that any group is allowed to just tell their people, no more connecting with Mary or Joe or Bill, right? No more talking to them because we've deemed them evil and they must be destroyed. because they are of Satan or whatever. That kind of thing is actually where you get groups being culty, is when they're the ones who are enforcing that. So we would want to I think we could put those kinds of controls on groups like that. And it would only improve the college experience. The other thing about it is that it gives you an opportunity to actually one-on-one in person with people who have wildly different and extremist beliefs, because that's an education all by itself. And it's one you might even want to take advantage of to the degree that they're around. What works and what doesn't, in terms of talking to them, in terms of changing their minds, in terms of getting them to even consider the idea that they could be wrong. You could spend 3 hours, and it would be 3 hours well spent if you could move that dial even an inch in that direction of getting them to be thinking. So it's an opportunity in some ways too, if it can be looked at that way.
And if you live in Utah and are not a Mormon, please own multiple copies of the CES letter and familiarize yourself with it. It will only do you. It will only do you good. That's another, because those college campuses, there's nothing like going to a cult-like college campus because the campus is run by a cult. It's and that's how multiple schools in Provo, but especially BYU and Mormon Business College. I think they changed their name, but that was their name for years. Anyway, Amy, is that good for you?
Absolutely, guys. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
No problem.
Oh, I think I might have cut Amy off just a little bit. Now listen, so I just got this DM on Twitter and I thought you would find it very funny. So it says this: Jimmy, I'll doubt you'll see this, especially because you're live right now, but my parents are Mormon and they said that they'd call in on the line to debate with you if it wasn't on a Sunday. I was a Mormon and I know for a fact there is no prohibition on the use of a phone on Sunday. You are not Orthodox Jews. You're Mormons. You're allowed to press buttons. You're allowed to use phones on Sunday. So
sounds a little bit like a cop-out.
It's what I'm hearing too. So I would love to speak to your parents. I'd love to hear their Mormon challenges. I have a feeling they're going to come up with a way that he's forgetting about not working on Sunday or something like that, as though that's what they're talking about, as though that's the same thing. But rest assured, we will have some non-Sunday shows for those people who like to make up rules about the Sabbath so they can call in the future. We'll do that just for those parents. Hey, thanks for checking out this clip for The Line. While you're here, hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and then share this with that bitter uncle of yours who loves talking about the good old days.